On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Tony fights rabbids through space, and Ethan is afraid of ghosts. Well, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
Hey, Tony.
What's up?
I can see you doing hand motions.
I do hand motions all the time. If I had the camera on for like the entire show, people would see my hands all over the place because I gesture all the time.
Yeah, I recall the Nintendo Oki days. You were like, you'd act like sitting across from me is, and you're like saying, yeah, I would point at Shelby, but he's not there.
Yeah, and I do the hand spinning thing like I'm your host Tony, and then
I definitely noticed that.
that is the one thing that I always do. Nobody sees it that often because I very rarely have the camera on me whenever I'm doing that part. But yeah, so what's up?
Yeah.
We're here. We're gonna do another show. We've played some Proteus together.
That was a very bloody game.
That game likes those developers love their blood effects. That is 100% true.
Unless you're on like the Switch version, then it's kind of just not that way.
Yeah, the Switch version came out this week. I'm playing that. I'm doing a little bit of that for review, and I put some comparison shots up on Twitter. If I had thought about it, I could have them pulled up, and you can see them here. But yeah. So yeah, it's not gonna work. Oh well.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah, the blood effects and the smoke effects on the Switch are significantly toned down. It is definitely a bit of a visual downgrade if you're playing the Switch, but the actual gameplay part of it feels just as good. It is just as fun to play that game on the Switch as it is on any of the other systems. It's super fun. It's super fast paced.
Move the camera to make this less awkward.
It's like Doom if Doom was made now, and
It still looked like how it did then.
yeah, if you could take Doom,
If Doom 95 had modern day blood
and make
effects.
it fully 3D and just fill the screen with blood, then yes,
That's fair.
that is exactly what Proteus is. But while you're listening to us talk about Proteus, you get to see footage of Quake. So they're very different games, but yeah. So you can go check that video on demand on both of our Twitch channels if you're curious to know what Proteus is at all.
It is worth the look.
I enjoy that game a lot. It's like super fast paced, level based. I don't know if there's a story. I haven't paid attention. I haven't seen any kind of cutscenes. There's no real descriptions of it. It's just go here, go here, go here, go here. There's an overworld
Doom
map.
and Wolfenstein did the same thing. It's like, here you are, point A to point B. There you go. And then you get something at the end that gives you a little bit of a hint.
So, yep, it's definitely, it's a very nice throwback to those old PC shooters. So, but aside from that, what have you been playing this week?
So, I mentioned it last week. Started playing Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed.
Yep.
I hope I mentioned it last week.
Oh, I should probably mute that. There we go.
Okay. So Ghostbusters.
I forgot to mute your Twitch video.
yeah. Just Toomey and Jason and Stuart all talking, right?
Yep.
That game with friends is a lot better. I can actually talk to people, coordinate something, or anything instead of having NPCs that may or may not follow me around getting in the way.
Yeah. What are you playing it on? I just saw Jason on the screen, and he's got a PlayStation icon over his head.
They're both playing on PlayStation. I'm on PC.
Okay.
And getting the crossplay to work was a half-hour ordeal, and Stuart had to go and find the solution to make it work.
Really?
Yeah, it was complicated and stupid. You had to be next to the PS5 and next to the PC. You had to go in on one and like unassociate with the on Epic. You had to unassociate with the PSN, then log in on PSN, then reassociate, and then suddenly it worked.
Oh my gosh!
Incredibly stupid. And then it seemed like the only way to add friends is to have the Epic Game Store installed, so you could then friend like me.
Yeah, I assume it's using the Epic back end for all of the online play and stuff. So
yeah, but I mean, just for the friend list, it's like, why is this overly complicated? We've had solutions to this on other things. Heck, Steam's had this figured out since PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
And here we are 2 generations later. And one major hack incident as well that shut down everything as soon as that game came out for Portal 2. Yeah. Anyway, game with friends is fun.
It looks really fun. Like it's one of those games. I definitely have it on my list. It's just unfortunate that it came out at the exact same time as Mario and Rabbids, and so I had to pick which one of those I wanted, and Mario and Rabbids won out. And
yeah,
I just need to grab a little bit of cash, and then I'll be able to grab Ghostbusters and play, because I really do want to play it. It looks super fun.
Oh, it really is. So we did one hunt we busted one ghost together, and then on the next map I secretly switched over to the ghost team before the round started. You can't see who's on what team at the start.
Yeah.
And so it's always 4 versus 1, so it's one ghost versus the whole team. And they didn't know I was the ghost the whole time.
Really?
Even though you can see everyone's names. And so Stuart's getting mad because I'm not helping with the ghost. And he's like, hey, where's the ghost? Hey, did you see the ghost? I was like, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the ghosts, Stuart. And I'm just flying off.
He's right here.
I picked on Stuart so much as the ghost because I considered him the threat. So he's like, all right, I got to mess with him, and I'm just constantly breaking his proton pack and sliming him, and then I'm running and hiding.
Is this character with the hat on backwards supposed to be the one that looks like me?
No, that was
because somebody said Jason's character looks like me.
That was Cole saying that, and he was trying to be Crimson Chin. Had like the really big chin on his character, so it's more like a Jay Leno thing, really.
Okay.
But yeah, actually playing as a ghost against actual players it was very hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I basically had the round won, and I was on my last life on there. You get 4 lives as a ghost, so you can get caught like 4 times because you have that many rifts to escape.
Yeah.
With, and as soon as you have 100% haunt on there, for the ghosts, it's just a war of attrition. For everyone else, they're just trying to capture you 4 times, and then it's game over. There's no killing them to instant win as a ghost. So you have to like scare people, get your haunt up to 100%, and then survive like a 90-second timer or something. And the timer's counting down. I'm like messing with them. I think I had all of them slimed, pinned down on the ground. Someone had thrown out a trap, and it's going, and I have like, I don't know, 6 or 16 seconds left. I'm like, it's their first time. They know they're fighting against me now at this point, and I've been really rough on them. I just flew into the trap, gave them the win.
This recreation of the firehouse looks so good.
It's really good. On the pool table, the toaster's on it.
I just saw somebody walk by the pool table. I wasn't paying that much attention.
The pool table's got the toaster, and it dances around.
Nice. So this obviously takes place after Ghostbusters 2.
Yes. So 1 and 2 are canon. The 3 is uh, uh, oh gosh, what was that called?
Afterlife.
Yes, that is canon as well. Because the end of Afterlife, where you have uh, Winston walking around the firehouse as they pull in the Ecto One, that's where this game picks up. I think I mentioned that last week, so that was really awesome. So everything in the game seems to be canon as far as I can tell. They even have uh, Ray and Winston in the game, so that's a thing too. The thing I was wrong about last week, because I thought you had to hit a certain level and you could access the original Ghostbusters game or something on this old PC in the building. That's not it. It's like once you hit that level, you can access it, or story progress. One of those two. I don't know which it was. Once you can access it, it's like, okay, what if your item is at whatever level, like your proton pack, your PKE, whatever. Once those are at, they all have their individual levels. So once something's at a certain level, you can, we'll say 20, you can go to that thing and say, okay, this is what you need to do to get this thing unlocked on here. And so that's what that's for.
Okay.
So there's things you already unlock, and then additional you can get with that stuff further in. And other than Ghostbusters, Phasmophobia.
Okay.
And we had a bad time. We got our Halloween trophy. That was playing on Nightmare difficulty. Had to get all the candy, get all the pumpkins, then get a picture of the ghost and get out. Well, you just had to get a picture of the ghost. You didn't have to live. You didn't have to get out. It helps a lot.
Yeah. So
we got smart, got to where I would buy all the equipment. So I just fully stocked us up on everything. We know the ghost doesn't kill you right away. I think the quickest kill I had was like within a minute. And the ghost just instant killed me. No one knew I even died that early on. But that was like months ago. But this, I felt more confident. I went in, we're dropping stuff off, and then grabbing candy and stuff. Once we're at the picture-taking phase, I stayed in the vehicle the whole time.
Okay.
Let them do the rest of the work. Because if they die, they don't lose anything. I have all the equipment. So it's like, if I die, it's a major loss to me, and nothing bad on them.
Yeah.
But we got our trophy, and now we're just playing for fun. And still having difficulties on there. Some of these ghosts are just impossible to tell, or not giving you enough credit or evidence or anything.
Well, that stinks.
I did see Stuart get obliterated by the ghost, and me and Jason went in and trying to get something, and you can see someone's throwing something. It's like, okay, that's Stuart's ghost throwing something to get our attention at this piece of evidence. And so that was super helpful. But I don't think I'm going for the individual trophies on Phasmo. You have to play on Nightmare Custom, and I don't like it. Because the ghost can just do more than destroy you on that.
That does not sound like a pleasant experience in any way.
No, you have to do single player and be as slow as you can be, and the ghost can be everything else. Ugh.
Yeah.
But on brighter notes, Tony, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? What have I not been playing this week? I've not been playing Mario 3. I've not been playing Phasmo. Call
back to the pre-show that does not exist.
I have been playing a little game I like to call Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I like to call it that because that's what the game is called.
How many sparks are there?
I mean, so far I've got like 9. Sparks are characters. That's what the...
Oh, okay.
Sparks are the Rabbid Lumas. That's what they call them. They don't call them Rabbid Lumas. They call them Sparks.
But they're Lumas that have... Or Rabbids that turn Lumas?
They are Lumas that have Rabbid ears. And, you know...
Okay.
So they're basically Lumas that have been turned into Rabbids.
God, Luma's turning into rabbits and they're going blah the whole time.
And each of them give
And
you
they're already annoying as it is.
each of them have a special ability that you can attach up to. At this point in the game, I can attach up to 2 sparks per character, and they do things like they give you fire attacks, which also make you resistant to fire, or there's ice or water or electricity. There are ones that reduce the amount of damage that you can take in a round, or they reduce the amount of damage you do take in a round. And you can mix and match these. Like Mario's, the one I have on Mario, it gives everybody in a range around him bonuses to their attack power, which has come in handy quite a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want the big hits.
And you can use the sparks, and then they have a cooldown time, which is usually around 3 to 5 turns. You can reduce that with other things. There are items that will let you instantly.
You have a spark that'll reduce your spark cooldown.
I mean, essentially, but it's not a spark. It's just an in-game item that will reduce the cooldown time for specific things. I absolutely adore this game. It is incredible. I loved the first one. First of all, it was the biggest surprise early on in the Switch life, because I remember when that game leaked a little bit ahead of E3 back in 2018, I think, maybe. I don't remember exactly, but I remember being very negative about the leaks. I was like, this sounds like an awful experience. Nobody wants to play anything with the rabbids in it at all. And
they turned it around.
They 100%, as soon as gameplay started showing up and people saw the game in action, the opinion of that game just immediately switched. And then people got their hands on it and realized the game is flipping incredible. And it became the biggest surprise early on in the Switch. And this game takes everything that I liked about that first game and improves on it. The first game, you had a movement range, but it was all grid-based, and so you were a little bit limited in what you could do. This one has complete freedom of movement, so you have when you select a character, it shows you where you can move, and you can move completely freely inside that. And
so it's more of a circle that you can.
Yeah, it's essentially a circle, a radius of movement, and as long as you stay in there, and as long as you don't attack with your weapon, you can move freely and do whatever you want inside there. So there are things like some of them have these goopy eyes that are on the level, and they have to be destroyed. And one of the ways to do that is to grab these eggs that when you throw them, they explode. You can do that. You can move to that, get the egg, throw it, and you still have all of your movement, all of your action points. Each character has 2 actions that they can do, and that's either firing your weapon or using one of your skills or an item. Firing your weapon locks your movement. At that point, you can no longer move. But any of the other actions do not affect your movement, so you can use that to full effect. And then you've got the team jump mechanic that they have, where if you have one character, if you move up close to another character, they throw you up in the air, and you have a glide that you can do for a little while. And so you can do that. You can slide into enemies and attack them physically, which does not count as actually attacking them. So you still have complete movement after you've done that attack. Some characters have multiple dash attacks that they can do in a turn. Like one of the characters you get early on, his name is Edge. He's a sort of an emo-looking rabbit. He's got dark black hair with green stripes through it, and he uses a sword.
Isn't he the Bowser rabbit?
No.
He's not?
No.
Who's he supposed to be?
I mean, he's a brand new character.
So he's just... Okay, he's his own character. Okay.
Yeah.
OC, do not steal.
Yeah, exactly. So he has multiple dashes that he can do. He starts out with 2, and I think you can actually increase that later on in the game. He's actually not a part of my main party. Right now I can have 3 characters, and I have Mario, Luigi, and Rabbid Peach are my characters.
Not edgy enough?
Rabid Peach is a healer. Her special ability gives you an area of effect healing. So she's been very handy to have. Luigi is essentially like a sniper. He uses a bow, but he can shoot people from much further range than anybody else. So it's really handy to have him peppering people while you're trying to get closer. Mario's just your all around sort of character. He dual wields these pistols that gives him 2 attacks per turn. But this game is so much fun. It has 5 different. What?
Does it do like percentages on like the hit or anything?
Yeah, it has some of the. I mean, if sort of, you have 100% chance of hitting them if they are completely out of cover. You don't have to worry about missing, a point blank hit because it had a 95% rate of attack. And
So it's not XCOM 2 levels of
no.
crap.
If you can see them and they're not in cover, they will get hit. Range will affect the amount of damage that they take, but you will always hit
that
them.
makes more sense.
And then they have a partial cover, which covers the bottom half of them, and their top half is exposed. That gives 50%. You a 50% chance to hit, and then they've got full cover.
Okay.
So, which gives you a 0% chance.
And then I guess there's cover that can be destroyed that you're behind as well.
Yeah, all of the cover in the game can be destroyed. There's nothing that is, except for like buildings. If you're behind a building, that can't be destroyed. But,
nothing sacred.
Most of the cover is behind, stone blocks or wooden blocks or small, low fences, that kind of thing. And all of that can be destroyed. Some of it takes multiple hits, so you'll shoot it a couple of times and it'll go to partial cover, and then you can hit it, a couple more times and it'll completely destroy the cover. They can all, you can shoot around corners, and that puts you completely in cover. You lean over to attack and then you slide back where you're completely behind cover. Like the combat portion of this is so wide open. There's so many things you can do between the team attacks, the dash attacks. Each of the characters has their own specific kinds of things to do, like I was talking about earlier with Luigi being a sniper. Peach has her parasol has a cannon on it, which does a 45-degree cone out in front of her. Rabid Peach shoots 3 missiles up in the air that can negate cover, so they will come down vertically, and you basically reduce their cover by a little bit, so you have a better chance of hitting with her if they're completely behind cover than you would somebody else. But there's so many different things you can do, and the combat itself is so versatile. The game is much more open world. There are 5 different planets that you'll go to while you're playing the game, and they're all super varied. The first one is a typical Mushroom Kingdom looking type of planet. The second one is an ice planet, and I'm on the third one right now, which is sort of a fall themed planet. And each of them have different things that you'll do. There are things like in the ice world, there's a boat that's frozen in a pond, and one of the things that you have to do is try to get. You have to rescue these penguins that you throw onto the boat that will then make it so that the main bad guy in the game will sort of put this goo around the boat, and you still can't do anything with it. So you have to then attack specific enemies around the level to get rid of the goo that's holding the boat in place, and then at that point it'll be free to go, and you complete that objective. There'll be various villagers like Goombas or other rabbids that say, I need you to go and take out 3 of these specific types of enemies, and each of these things is giving you what are called planet coins that you use to unlock skins for your weapons or memories that sort of unlock more of the story. But this game is easily my favorite game that I have played so far this year. It is beautiful to look at. The combat is super diverse. It's not super difficult. I've not had much trouble with things. I've only had to replay 1 or 2 levels that I failed the first time. So it's not to say that it's super easy, but I haven't had a lot of characters just completely die on me where I had to, heal them back up afterwards. They've taken a lot of damage, but I've never had complete team wipes except for once where I had to replay a level.
Did it involve a wiggler?
No, it did not involve a wiggler. There are more unique enemy types this time around too. Like in the last one, I seem to remember a lot of them being different forms of rabbids, and there are those in this one. There are guys that are rabbids that are wearing these like cloaks that look like they're made of dragon skin. There's another one that has what looks like a seahorse type of armor on, and each of those has different abilities and effects that they do. Like the dragon ones have fire-based attacks, the seahorse have water-based attacks, and so on and so forth. But there are other unique type of enemies that I've seen that are sort of based on cats. The Mario universe has this thing with cat type enemies, and
Yep.
that you see that a lot in this with some of the enemies, and I don't know what the deal is with cats in the Mario universe, but you see that cat theme over and over.
They're
in a
adorable.
lot of
That's all
different
you
things.
need
I
to
mean,
know.
they are. That is true. That's 100% true. But yeah, Mario and Rabbids is hands down my favorite game that I've played so far this year. Absolutely love it. Each of the characters has specific animations when they do their special abilities, which thankfully after a while you can skip them at any point, but because after a while you start to see that same animation over and over again. You're like, I realize it's only like a 5-second long animation, but I've seen it 300 times now because I've used this ability of Mario's so many times that I just want to skip it. But yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful game, and I'm amazed at how likable the team at Ubisoft has made Rabbids. One of the things I kind of wish they did is that everything was fully voiced, because all of the characters have their own unique voices. The only characters that have all of their lines fully voiced are the little robot characters that are part of your party.
The Roomba?
Yeah, the little Roomba guy. He's completely voiced. Everything he says in the game. And then there's another one that you have that's sort of like these 2 diamonds that are stacked on top of each other. And she talks. Her lines are all fully voiced. But none of the other characters are. They'll say the first 1 to 3 words of their line, and then that's it. So it's a little weird that, and like all the voices are great. They sound really good. It's not just blah over and over again. All of the Rabbids feel like, normal, likable characters. They're not the over the top, annoying versions of the Rabbids we've had in the past. And all of them are fully voiced for 1 sentence, and a lot of them have multiple lines that they say, and so I really wish they had fully voiced everything and not just that little bit of each line, because I really like it. Because even the enemies and the other sort of important characters that you see in each level, none of their stuff is fully voiced.
Huh.
And all of them have great voices. It would have been so fun to get to hear all of them talking all of the time. So that's the only real sort of negative thing, I guess you could say, I have to say about the game, because it's a joy to play. Like, the combat feels really good, the world feels real and lived in, and
So you're saying you want Chris Pratt in there voicing Mario fully?
No, I would rather have Charles Martinet voicing Mario in the games. That's fine. I don't care.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
like that's a thing. That's going to be a thing going forward. I know we're not going to get Chris Pratt's voice in games. That's just not going to happen.
Not yet.
Unless we get a Super Mario movie, the game, then we might get Chris Pratt's voice as Mario in a game. But I have no problem with them doing, Mario's voice one way in the movies and Mario's voice as Charles Martinet as Mario in the games. It works in the games. I don't mind the voice in the games. But I'd really like to see... I don't want to see Charles Martinet doing the voice of Mario in the movies. Just because I don't think that voice works for long periods of time.
Okay.
But it would have. This is one of the first times I've ever had a Mario game where I'm like, I wish everything was fully voiced, because it would have made the game that much better. Like they do a really funny thing. Like the Rabbid Mario has lines and he says things. He uses a Brooklyn accent. It's hilarious. Like they lean into that Captain Lou Brooklyn accent voice for the Mario Rabbid, and I really like it. It's really funny.
You want to know what video game has Brooklyn accents?
What's
and
that?
It only costs $40. Ghostbusters.
Huh?
Spirits Unleashed.
There you go.
Apparently, everyone has a Brooklyn accent that you select in there.
Because everybody from New York is from Brooklyn.
Exactly. Like, hey, I'm walking here.
So.
And it's like, okay, let's bust a ghost.
I think I'm probably 10 hours into Mario and Rabbids, and I just made it to the 3rd planet. So there's still quite a bit of game left to go. But it's been super fun. There's so many side quests to do on each planet, so many things to unlock. Every character has tons of skins for their weapons. I kind of wish they had costumes too, but they don't. The only thing you can customize is the weapons for the characters. But that's what I've been playing. It's been all Mario and Luigi any chance I've had to play a game this week. So that's going to be it for me this week. And there's not really a whole lot of news to talk about, so I think we'll just go ahead and end the show there, Ethan, if you're okay with that.
No, I'm not okay with it.
What do you want to talk about then?
I didn't think that far ahead.
Oh, okay. So, thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully, we'll have Cole back next week, and something will happen in the news, and we can talk about that.
Be sure to buy Bayo 3.
And Mario and Rabbids. And Ghostbusters.
And Phasmo. Pushing hard to be sells. Not a sponsor.